Hi, welcome to Life with Stuart. I am Stuart, and this is vlog number 10. We've reached the double digits now. And happy spring to those of you who are in the northern hemisphere. Otherwise it's happy fall, I believe, to those in the southern hemisphere, or soon will be, or already was, something like that. Alrighty, I'll just get right into it. I'm going to just clump together Monday and Tuesday of last week because they were very similar in that I was playing games with William, my host brother, and a few other members like Grandma Becky and a few visitors, Rose and Priscilla, and just playing games, just hanging out. So I didn't get a lot of writing or vlogging done, so that's why my last vlog ended up getting pushed back to Tuesday morning instead of Monday night. But I did get a form notarized at a bank and got that sent out on Wednesday, even though I tended to do it on Monday, but I forgot. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday did some more writing in preparation for my Friday blog, and just some free writing. Been reading a book called Ender's Game, and started the second book of C.S. Lewis's space trilogy, so Paralandra. And it's just been really cool to get into more science fiction side of things instead of fantasy side of things. So Wednesday night at church is still going on with the Covenants of God and learning about those, and we got to read a story about a minister, I believe, who went to Africa in the 1880s, I believe, and was documenting the covenant between two different tribes, and it was just really neat to just, hear this document, and 120, 30 years later. So that was just really cool. Thursday, went to Trevor and Stephanie's again, had great chicken and rice, just being with family again, helping put up a shelf a little bit, and just playing around with Charles, and just hearing, and just being present with their family, as well as playing Pandemic with my brother, which is a game where you are a group of scientists playing against the game, which is the diseases and finding a cure for it, otherwise you die and lose it. So it was just really cool and fun to play that. Friday, got out the blog post Motivation, which was more about my motivation through the gift of God, the gift of writing God has given me, and wanting to improve that in order to make it a blessing for others, which I've been maintaining and trying to do on my blog here. So that's why I try to keep updating it and writing more, because I want to get better at it. And on Saturday, I ended up getting coffee with my brother Trevor, and it was just really encouraging. He's such a great listener, and being able to decode my verbal processing dump on him, and being able to kind of look through it and be like, okay, I hear a lot of this, but what are you doing about all of these things? How can you have concrete action behind your words? And I was just like, wow, he can do it so much better in so fewer words than me. And that was just really neat to have that time with him, and he was encouraging me to be like, okay, if you have a budget, how are you gonna try to meet that? If you're fundraising, if you're gonna work, how are you gonna meet that? And different things like that. I'm kind of like visionary and aerial view and distant, and I can't really see how the little steps here and now fit with the bigger picture out there. So that was just really encouraging. And more reading, more writing, more hanging out on those days on Saturday. And then Sunday, continuing in the Old Testament with Rob on the Sunday morning class. Just really incredible. He's such a wise man, such a wealth of knowledge, and it's like, oh, look at all these verses, all these passages that connect here into the New Testament and back, and all these prophecies, and the two different sides of a conquering king and a suffering servant, and how is that one person, and blah. So it's kind of overwhelming, but just like amazing at the same time. And Stephanie, so my sister-in-law's, her grandparents were visiting from Marietta, Georgia, and so after church we all went to the Lumberyard, a restaurant that is not too far from the church, but it is very deceiving because the front looks like a storefront and the lumberyard sounds like a lumberyard. So very unassuming, but it was just really great. Had some good just connection time, just family time around the table, just connecting in ways that have been lacking sometimes from the other visits, or from the years that have been in between visits, or so many other things that have been preventing just better connection or communication, which, I've been doing the best at. So it was good to see someone seeing the blind areas of my life and pointing them out to me. So I'm like, oh, thanks, I didn't notice that there. I need to work on that. God, can you please help me? And just really encouraged by, family and how just to grow more in that area and being open with communication. And then right on the heels of coming back here home, I went with my host dad, Mr. Ashburn, and William and Laura Grace, two of the triplets here, and we went up to Monte Sano. I believe that's how you say it. It's a local mountain park area, hiking area, and we're gonna go clear out a basin, so a kind of a stream, spring area, to let it just flow better, to get a head start on the bushes and the weeds and stuff, to make it just cleaner and better to visit and walk through. And on the way we saw close to a dozen deer or more just romping and leaping and running through the woods, and the vegetation, the trees haven't grown anything yet, so it's like you can see quite far. So it was just like we just saw them coming and just going together, and their tails were just like big white tails, and even a buck or two in there. Just like, whoa, I've never seen that, but that was really cool. And when I got back, I went to Life Talk, so another small group in the evenings at the Goads, and we had another couple, Carrie and Lauren Weishart, and they were just sharing about their experience at Central Church and the different ministries they've been involved in, and the families they've connected with, and the mentors they've received, and the wisdom and the experiences that they've walked through and grown through with God in the midst of that. And it was just really neat to hear that from a couple that's not necessarily always in the spotlight at church, but has had presence there for I think about 2 decades or more. And I was just really encouraged by their work and how, every person in the body, their work and their service and their care for another is very different than mine. So I was just really encouraged by that, and we had fun just talking about that, and then had a great meal of like 3 different soups and dessert and just conversation from movies and what we're doing and what am I doing, and trying to keep everybody up to date when I try to do these, so I don't have to tell everybody, but I do anyway. So you can see it here, or you can ask me. So that's kind of what I do with these vlogs. And to wrap things up, just to continue to be praying for me as I'm looking to maybe push back my departure date to Australia into later June or more. I'm not sure yet, since I haven't gotten a job yet, and fundraising, I haven't really been active in that, and different things like that. That isn't everything, but is something. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one.